Hey, everybody, and welcome to our weekly news show, where we're going to go over all the things that we may have missed this week, and we're also going to have some opportunities to talk about some show updates.
Yep, that's right. Since it's gaming news, I thought this is kind of where I can put my actual show updates. It is called AJS News, right?
Yeah.
So Angry Joe Show News. Well, the news for the Angry Joe Show itself is that I am traveling to New York tomorrow. And I will be at the YouTube Summit, where there will be several workshops, some one-on-one times with the executives. I get to ask questions. They get to make presentations to us, tell us what's going on, where they're at, where they've been, and honestly, I was like, last year, I was just, wow, they invited me, and I asked some hard questions. I remember I stayed up and I asked some questions and things like that. They didn't let me record it, by the way, which sucked ass. Maybe this year I'll record it or ask them permission to record it. But, I asked them some hard questions, and I want follow-ups to that. And honestly, I lost cards and emails and things, and it's so hard sometimes to get a hold of these people. It's just better to ask them in person. So if you guys have any YouTube issues or things like that, or improvements,
Yeah,
more than one.
Yeah, the claims.
Yeah, the claims.
Take it easy.
The claims.
4 seconds. Come on.
4 seconds of footage, or basically, I was going to ask them punishment for the other side if there's a company abusing something. What is all that?
There's a lot of stuff.
So if you got any of those ideas, throw it in the comments. I'll look through the comments while I'm over there and put that in front of them. I got some of my own, of course, over the years. So just wanted to inform you that, unfortunately, I won't be back till like Friday. Like, it's over Thursday or something, but I'm not back till Friday, and that blows up my whole week when I was planning to put out the Mortal Kombat review. Also, from the Mortal Kombat rant, the costumes have been delayed. We got a few masks and weapons and one costume. We're still waiting on another one, but at this point, the timing's matching up right. So when I get back, what I'm saying is when I get back, I'm gonna work on the Mortal Kombat review. So I'm sorry that's going to be delayed about a week, maybe a few more days, because I got to actually work on it. So I just wanted to update you on that the Mortal Kombat review is the next Angry review, but I will be gone at the YouTube Summit for a week trying to make YouTube better, whether they listen to us or it's just a fucking big fucking fancy excuse to have a party or something. I don't know, but I can at least try. All right, and this will probably be the last year I go. It'll be the last year I go if nothing changed, because I'm tired of it, and we'll figure it out. All right, so that's it for me. What about the actual gaming news?
Well, speaking of things we're tired of, Epic Store, more on that. So Tim Sweeney can't stay off of Twitter,
and Tim Sweeney is
the CEO of Epic.
I'm just letting others know.
And so he likes to argue with people on the internet. And so in an exchange with somebody, he said that if they would cease pursuing paid exclusives on the Epic Store if Steam was to match the 88-12 revenue share. So as of right now, Steam has a 70-30 for small devs, but for large releases, they're at 80-20. So it's not too far off.
I heard that he was like, yeah, we'll stop this exclusive bullshit if Steam matches our percentage and it becomes industry wide and it's great for everybody. But I don't know, man. I mean, at first I was like, oh, cool, great. I don't have to fucking deal with this no more. Do it, Steam, do it. But then I thought about it from a businessman perspective, and I was like, wait a minute. So I'm supposed to take my multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar business or whatever it is and just go off of your word that you're going to do this? And this guy has lied before, because he's like, oh, well, we're not going to do the exclusive deals for this particular title, or we're not going to take away a Steam one and then promise and then put it on Epic Store only, and then he did it again. He's like, oh, well, that was because we had discussions, and he's tweeting it. And so if I'm the fucking Steam CEO, if I'm Gabe, I'm like, I'm not sure I can use that Twitter quote as a piece of actionable information in my corporate espionage in order to make a decision on whether I should change my strategies. And honestly, as much as I fucking hate it and think they're being assholes, they're sitting there doing nothing, and it's working for them.
Yeah.
Did
and
they
I
still
fucking
haven't
hate
responded
it.
or anything?
No, they don't give a fuck.
No,
they make so much money and they don't give a shit.
They don't care. Yeah, he also went on to say,
Steam.
such a move would be a glorious moment in the history of PC gaming and would have a sweeping impact on other platforms for generations to come. And then
man, you would think that he wouldn't advocate for that, right? That he would be
Yeah.
for his own platform. So you got to wonder.
Well, he just
there's
knows-
a lot more to that, and forcing Steam to come up than
sneaky
we
man.
really think.
he just knows they're not going to do it.
Right.
He
and
can
so
say
he's
whatever
so
he
confident.
wants,
And then Steam announces tomorrow,
Boom.
we're doing it.
Shit.
Fuck.
Well, and in other epic news, there was a really damning Polygon article that was released this week. They interviewed a couple dozen employees, former and current employees of Epic, and they said that during the Fortnite crunch, I mean, they were forcing these employees to work 70, 80, 100-hour weeks.
Jesus.
If they complained, they were fired. They were threatened, like they said that you can't complain, or if there's a promotion coming up, you will not get it,
Or you're
And so-
replaceable or
well, yeah,
something.
well, that was the other
Holy
thing is
fucking
people would just wait for their weekly check and then they would just get up and then leave, not putting in 2 weeks or anything. So it was horrible, and it's weird from a company like Epic because they always act like the good guys. They're like, oh, we're making this storefront because it's for the good of everyone. It's like you can't build a platform on the backs of these employees that you're mistreating and then be the good guys.
Yeah, that one may be confirmed. I heard something about that about NetherRealms too, kind of doing some crunch time. And here's my stance on the crunch time. I think it's despicable. I think it's too much to ask for. You're talking 60, 80, 100, did you say?
100-hour weeks.
I was
100.
pulling like 80, 86-hour weeks when I first started the Angry Joe Show, and I was dying. I was like waking up, doing Angry Joe Show, going to bed. Waking up, doing Angry Show, go to bed. My life was kind of miserable at that time. But
That's
the
how
way
you fucking burn out. quick.
and that is how you burn out quick. But that's when you were building the channel, and at the very least, I was doing it to myself. It was my business. It was my passion. It was things I wanted to do. Nobody was telling me what to do. But to have somebody to tell you to do that much, I'd have been like, fuck off.
Yeah,
You
especially
know?
when like they're dangling and carrots like promotions coming
Right,
up.
promotions
Yeah,
or
I
just
need
money,
to
Joe.
work
I gotta
more.
fucking feed my kid. And you
Yeah.
want me to work this much? That's despicable. And that's the difference between owning your own business and working your ass off from scratch to start it, to then being successful and having a company with 50 employees, 100 employees. At that time, you can no longer act like you're this guy. You have to be a completely different company. You have to take people's time into account and respect that they're human beings, and they're not the owners of the company.
Well, and it wasn't just for one patch cycle. They said, no, there wasn't a major release that they were prepping for, and then everything is done, because Fortnite patches so often that they were forced to do it. They were doing fixes between patches, for the patches. There's a lot of really horrible things that some of the employees claim that were happening. Almost all of them said that anyone that complained was threatened to be fired immediately. And the company itself set out some emails like, oh no, we're working on to fix it, but it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks and nothing was ever done. The Polygon kind of articles even made worse when you take into account that last month Tim Sweeney was speaking to MCV about the Steam versus Epic storefront battle, and he mentioned how he was almost bragging about how much money they made for the launch of Fortnite, and that's how they were able to do all these exclusivity deals and how they were able to fund this platform. Well, we now know what it was. Is you had half the labor, the people working for your company that you needed to during this period of time, and you just kept all the cash.
Yeah, and it's despicable. Like, if you want overtime and you ask for overtime, that's your deal, you know. But if you're mandated to work 60 or mandated to work more that 80 and 100 hours a week, fuck that. And I've actually seen, shockingly, a little bit of pushback from the internet and cars. Oh, who cares? They'll fucking work hard. That's the work. No, I don't know where that's coming from.
These are also
if you've
salaried
actually
employees.
worked a 100-hour week, you would know that you don't do that for anybody else except for yourself.
Well, and these are not hourly employees. Some of these people get paid the same amount every week, no matter how many hours they work. And so saying you're going to go 100 hours instead of 40 hours this week, I mean, these people have families and other things to do. It's really horrible.
Absolute. Yeah.
So this information, along with the nonstop tweets and then just the general attitude that they're giving us the best thing ever, makes Epic's announcement even more grating as the days go on.
I do not like Epic Store. Well, I don't. I begrudgingly have to get on it for some of the things, the games that we have to review. But if I was a consumer and I didn't have to review anything, I would try to avoid it like the plague where I can until those features are in there, to my satisfaction, and maybe a little bit if they change their policies.
But they're not doing any of us as gamers a favor. This is a revenue stream for them. Really, what
happened? Well, they act like they're
doing. We get nothing. We don't get discounts. We don't get anything else other than now.
Yeah, they promised. They were like, we're going to increase the revenue, or we're going to increase the dev share, and then that will trickle down to you guys. Oh, trickle down economics. Those always work.
Always
work. No, and I don't blame the developers not then passing those savings on to us because they're already getting squeezed, and they're like, okay, this will allow us to put more into the game and doing this. But all those promises that it's going to be better for the gamer, we haven't seen none of that. In fact, it's been worse for the gamer.
Well, and it looks like it's getting worse. So I mean, ultimately, what happened is Epic took Steam wanted too much money, so Epic takes their ball home. They're like, I'm gonna make my own storefront, but with blackjack and hookers, and everything's gonna be great, except for they made everything worse. And we know that they don't plan on creating a competitive storefront because Tim Sweeney has said the storefront model is nearly perfect for consumers already. There is no hope of displacing a dominant storefront solely by adding marginally more store features or a marginally better install experience. So they have no desire
that quote
to put
is out there. That quote is an explanation of the exclusivity angle. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't have a roadmap, because they do have a roadmap, and they're working on it, but it's not really a massive priority like the exclusivity.
According to the person in charge of that, they did announce that sometime down the road they will be implementing new features to the storefront, but we know this is unimportant to them because if it was, they would just have that team work 100 hours a week to get everything done like they do with Fortnite. Like, there's no reason for it. And then it makes the glorious moments in the history of PC gaming and all of that rhetoric that he put out on Twitter just mean less because it has no impact on us.
Period. And he needs to realize that, and I hope people let him know. If he's on social media, let him know.
Oh, and he will argue with you because he thinks it's fun or something. He's always on Twitter arguing with people.
Great.
Well, now we've got a new update to, I know that your favorite game, Fallout 76, is coming up on the 7th.
Are people still playing that game?
Apparently,
I don't know. But if you do play...
I don't know. They might have more players than Anthem right now, Joe. I would love to see which game has more players, Anthem or Fallout 76.
That's a good,
and with how many fuck-ups, like, dude, the fuck-ups were happening one right after the other for Fallout, but I think at some point they got their shit together, and now it's just constantly...
Yeah. I think that they have their fan base, too. Because Anthem didn't really have anything.
You know what really bothers me is that both of these games have development studios in Austin.
I know,
and I love Austin. I think it's great. It's the birthplace of many excellent studios and excellent games. But don't look at that as, oh, Austin's are the garbage studios. No, because it's actually not the Austin studio that's at fault in some of these things. So I think, at least in the Anthem one, it was Edmonton a lot. And then now they're pushing it on Austin, and Austin's like, fuck. And then the Fallout 76 is, the Austin studio is relatively new, and they made them do this, but then they had a collaboration with all these other studios, and then everything. And then that was just a weak concept already.
Listen, Austin is not your scapegoat.
Right,
okay?
Right. So don't use that, but I don't know why I brought it up, because I made the point and then I withdraw the home point just so that y'all know that ain't it. Okay, well, what do you do in it?
They introduced a new faction called the Pioneer Scouts, which are pretty much the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, and you get merit badges.
Before the nuclear war or post-nuclear war? Boy Scouts?
I guess it's modeled after what they were before, but there's like hunting badges and fishing badges and all these other things, and you can use the merit badges to use they've got vending machines to get stuff. Now, one of the things that people are most excited about is backpacks, because apparently carrying stuff around in the future,
there is a lot of loot.
We lost a lot of backpacks. Like, backpack technology is gone in the Fallout universe.
You gotta get them backpacks.
So now you can get backpacks, and everyone seems really excited. I don't get it.
Okay, so you're telling me people walking around with one of these little sashes or whatever with little buttons?
No, the little
hunting badge.
That would be pretty sweet.
You got a hunting badge.
Yeah.
That would be sweet, Joe. But it's not that, because
I started my first fire.
Yeah.
That would be sweet. So I could be like, Joe, holy shit, you're a fucking badass. But If it's that, okay, a little bit of props there, but I think it's all local based and it's only going to be on one screen when you get these badges. I don't know because I haven't looked it up.
But you start out as a tadpole and you work your way up somehow, and somehow you finish as a possum, I think. I don't know how tadpoles turn into possums. I missed that part of like wildlife biology.
And,
radiation.
Is there any
radiation, Alex?
Yeah, all right.
There's no creepy like camp counselor. We want to stay away from all that kind of stuff.
I don't think Fallout needs any more like bad press.
No.
Oh god, that was a great
Oh,
scene.
canteen
Yeah.
boy.
Will that bring you back, Alex?
No.
Will that bring you
No.
back,
No.
Joe?
No.
Will it bring me
Backpacks?
back? No. What it'll do is I'll look at a screenshot or two to see if those badges actually do show up. And if you got some
actually-
badges and you get the badges, tweet your badges at to me, and I'll retweet it, and it'll be a joke.
Question: with this backpack, how many more items can you carry?
I don't know. It's probably just like a normal JanSport backpack. You could probably only fit like 3 things in it.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
Well,
checking.
whatever. Moving on
God.
from Fallout 76.
Well, we were talking about local companies. So Riot had some trouble this last year where there was a lot of women accused them of sexual harassment, and there was also some inappropriateness in the workspace. And so Riot this week filed motions to block current employees from taking legal action against them. So instead,
Jesus.
they're going to make them go through arbitration. So in August, Kotaku ran an article that described Riot as with a company culture that refused to hire women into leadership roles, subjected them to gendered remarks, and overt day-to-day sexual harassment, and pressured them to leave after they complained. And so they're forcing them, instead of being just you say you can't sue us, we're going to make you go through arbitration. Now, if you don't know what that means, there was a Cornell study about private arbitration that found that employees win less often than they do in legal proceedings, and when they do win, are awarded substantially lower amounts. It was found so out of balance that Google, Facebook, and Uber all dropped their forced arbitration clauses, and then Google, that's for sexual harassment, and then Google just said no forced arbitration whatsoever because it was deemed so unfair.
We'll just go through the normal law process, but these companies, you're telling me that company wants to use arbitration, so they're trying to block them. They're saying you can't sue us. We did all these things to you, but you can't sue us.
Can't sue us.
Use arbitration. If everything goes wrong,
give
use
you the
arbitration,
minimum.
and we'll give you the minimum. Wow, that's pretty shitty, Riot. Especially considering how big your game is, how much money you make. Now, of course, somebody could say, "Oh, these allegations are lies," and things like that. But that's why you have the law process.
the
Say,
legal
let me
process,
see
yeah.
the evidence. If there's evidence, then obviously something has gone down. If there's no evidence, then those are baseless claims, and they will get dismissed.
Well, these actions are really the reason they were so shocking is because immediately after the Kotaku article in August, Riot themselves came out and put a bunch of press statements out saying we're going to do everything we can to fix this. They hired people. I think they hired someone from Harvard. They brought someone in to make sure that diversity was
Well,
important.
clearly
to them.
they knew they had their own problem.
They're
If they're
guilty.
making those actions,
They're
that's
guilty.
guilty.
Yeah, well,
They're blocking their employees. It's almost as if working in the video game industry is kind of shitty, and companies fucking step all over you if you're an employee. It almost sounds like maybe there needs to be, and I know somebody else has made this point,
revolution.
some kind of organization where people kind of work together for the betterment of the goals and health of the game developers. I don't know if there's an organization out there like
could
that
make one.
or some kind of
We
thing
can do
like
it.
that. No, where you unionize, but apparently to some people unions are a bad thing. And I don't know the complexities and everything of all that.
unions?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're looking at from the perspective of shareholders and from the perspective of easy labor,
It's a
you don't
scary
want
word.
you don't
They don't
want
want
your
the
workers
scary word for them.
to organize and ask for more things. Because you're like, I can't afford you asking all this stuff. So there are people that will defend corporations and say, no, we can't afford to give you all this. And the other one's like, well, we're not really asking for that. We're asking for rights and.
Yeah, but what we
fair
see,
things.
I mean, we've talked about the health of the gaming industry and how year after year, revenue and profit are skyrocketing. The video game industry is doing nothing but explode and get more bigger and bigger, and we're not seeing that profit trickle down into the people that actually make these things.
I do
QA
feel
people.
like they are getting they're
They
being
are.
the whipping boys, and whether it needs to be a union or whether these companies need to suffer losses in court so that they realize, we can't push around people like this anymore, especially within the video game industry. Something needs to be done. So if you're one of those people typing a comment, "Oh, Joe, you're fucking politics," that's what we're advocating, and you're an idiot.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching the news show. Like I said, I'll be gone for a week, unfortunately. God, I hate falling behind. It's the worst. So what comes out in May? I got to see what video games are coming out.
76 DLC coming
God
out.
damn it.
You want to put a backpack?
Yeah, you want to? We can
Get a possum
We can
hat.
start out as tadpoles together, and
I
then
don't
we'll.
Possum
want to
hat.
be
Yeah.
a tadpole. No, thank you. Let's see. What do we got? Total War Kingdoms. That's going to be one that I want to look at.
That's your faves.
Yeah, but I haven't done a review, and I really needed to do a review on the Total War Warhammer series.
Total Warhammer,
and
yeah.
that's going to end up being the
Just cave
first one
in.
where I don't even get to look at that. But you got Rage 2. Can't forget about Rage 2. That one's looking good. And there's some smaller ones, but we'll have to wait. It's so weird. Look at how sparse that is in May. It's like people need to start announcing the shit for May, for June. There's nothing there in May, June, July, except for like 1 or 2 things. So it should be interesting. And also something I forgot to mention in AJS news, the show news, is that I should have some prototypes for our board game here in the month of May, and things have been delayed, obviously, but things are really coming together starting this month, and going forward, you'll start to see more content on the show about the board game. So that is going very nicely, and I can't wait to share that stuff with you once I get back. All right? Cool.
Sounds great.
Sweet. Guys, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification, and you know,
yeah, check out the link below. Check out some sweet merch like this right here.
Grab
Huh?
that. Supports
Bam.
us. Supports us directly. And, yeah, thank you for watching. See you
Bye,
on the
guys.
next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.